Hello, everyone. Welcome to Metal DevOps. I'm your host, Jason Gooley. And with me today, I have two very special guests. One you may have already met before, my good friend Thom Hazaert over here. Say hi, Tom. And then now we have with us Brandan from the Imagination Room. And as fun as that sounds, it's actually a software company. And I'm gonna let them kind of introduce that.
Not fun at all. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's a non-fun software company, but it sounds fun.
Very fun.
So tell me what the Imagination Room is and what do you do?
So the Imagination Room is a software company. We're based in Vancouver, Canada, and we build a bunch of different types of apps, secure messaging platforms, photo sharing platforms, recently got into mobile games. So we kind of have a wide array of products in our lineup, and anything else that comes up that's exciting to work on.
So you don't have any software that allows you to crush sweet candies or anything like that, do you?
Not right now.
Okay.
That's
well overrated.
Sweet hoops. They got them that allow you to shoot some sweet hoops. I mean, they got a couple games that are absolutely maddening, by the way. So how I am configured and dragged into this whole thing is I am now working with Imaginate. So our buddy John Aquilino, who you might recognize his name from Sleeping Giants and some of our stuff with David. So John Aquilino was the guitar player in Icon, and he owns the Platinum Underground in Phoenix, where me and David record, where I just went and did my vocals for Simple Truth, where I recorded, David records all the stuff there, I record all my stuff there, Max Cavalera records all his stuff there now, Sacred Right did their record there. So John Aquilino works with Imagination Room, and for a couple of years, he's been showing me the apps, and we've been talking, and obviously I have a marketing and kind of tech parallel background, so I ended up working with them to kind of develop Pool and Zero and some marketing strategies and some dev strategies for some of their apps. So it really is this weird, funny, and that's how this conversation, like, what a cool metal DevOps that would be. I'm the metal and you guys are the DevOps, man. I mean, come on.
That's how we do. We bring it together, right? Well, what's really
that is not the intersection of metal and technology right there in a nutshell. I don't know what is.
Exactly right. And that's what's so awesome about this show is the fact that it's like we try to find different, unique, interesting ways of bringing in metal and technology. And I wouldn't have ever met Brandan if it wasn't for my connection with Thom through metal, right? I mean, so it's kind of
met Brandan if it wasn't for John Aquilino. So again, same thing, John, it's so funny. John owns that studio, but he also works in the corporate sector and does a lot of, John's like the wolf from Pulp Fiction. He's like a problem solver. That's what John Aquilino does. So, but yeah, he's great. And he hooked me up with these guys. And we talked for like a year. And then finally, right as the quarantine hit, we finally locked it down and I got on board with Imagination Room in a formal context, So it's been really cool. And again, it's just a cool time to work on apps and do stuff, and we're all trying to find stuff to do while we're at home. Well, look, Imagination Room's got you covered. They got a bunch of mindless, fun games that'll drive you crazy, and some really cool utilities that we're going to talk about. And yeah, so it's really been it's a really cool story the way it came together. And again, the intersection of how metal and technology crossed paths again, with me and you and me and Brandan and John and David and the whole little mess.
That's how it's how the world works, right? But I also understand that you might have some apps that you mentioned quarantine and what we're all doing here. We're all kind of sitting at home and trying to. For me, it's normal. Like I live and eat and breathe in this room. This is my office. I work from home, and this is just how it's been, right? But for a lot of folks, you need to try to find different ways to pass time and not kind of lose your mind. And you had mentioned earlier before we got rolling here that there's even an app to kind of help you with maybe anxiety and breathing and kind of working your way in calmer methods than what we might be dealing with right now. So you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, so a lot of people obviously aren't used to being inside. They're still trying to adapt, and there's a whole lot of anxiety that comes with that. So we decided to develop somewhat of a game where you take care of a character in the app by focusing on your breath. And the mood of the character changes based on how much you're actually spending focused on your breath and how the quality of your breath. So that's actually coming out later this week, and hopefully before the weekend, everyone's able to download it both on iOS and Android.
Oh, really? So is that something that I know you're gonna show us here pretty soon some of these different applications and whatnot, and you're gonna share your phone, but is that something that we might be able to get a sneak peek of today, or is that something that
Yeah, I
we
actually have it. I can show it to you once we get on.
Oh, nice. Hey, I might even use
I
it
haven't even
myself.
seen it yet. I've been hearing about this app for weeks, and I haven't even seen it yet. So
Okay, well, hey, I mean, Brandon,
I'm
if you don't
excited.
mind, do you want to start sharing your screen and we can kind of start talking through some of the apps?
Yeah, of course. Here, let's try this.
Well, while Brandon's getting that all set up, with this show, the whole idea is to just try to find ways to help people and then merge technology and metal music together. And that's kind of why we started talking to Imagination Room, was that how I started talking to it was through Thom, again as mentioned. But it's one of those things where you never know. You turn a corner and then you'll run into somebody that can help you out with something, and that's what it's all about nowadays. Is just being friendly to each other and helping people along. So I'm looking forward to seeing
And
these
to
apps
me,
and
that's
kind of
what
seeing
it's
what they
always
do.
been about. Whether you're in the music business, whatever business you're in, it's like I always say, look, be careful who you're nice to on the way up, or who you're not nice to, because you never know who you're going to run into on your way down. And that is a motto that has served me well in my tenure in business period, whether it's the music business, the movie business, the tech business, any of the things I dabble in.
I mean, that's great. It's great advice too, because again, you really do never know who you're going to run into, right? I mean, we'll
and who they're going to be. There's kids.
Yeah.
There's kids I worked with when I was really young in my career, but when I was managing Chimera and had a lot of stuff going on, like on that side, there's kids who are managing, little bit. Like I remember this dude Jerry Clubb. Used to come to our show, Chimera shows, and be like, dude, I manage this band called Suicide Silence. They're really great. You should check them out. And I was super cool to him, and he ended up years later being super awesome. And my other buddy, you know, Eric Rushing ended up years later who was kind of one of my assistants, and later ended up managing Asking Alexandria and managing all these huge bands. So it's like, again, man, I always try and be super cool to everybody and whoever it is, but it really is, man. This is a small business, it's a small world, and it's, again, just all about collaborating with people and to be easy with and flexible and just being cool to people, man. Like I think that's what me and David. I think that's why so many people love David. You know what I mean? And even being around David has made me even more of a positive person and more, I always subscribe to that sort of a theory. But the more I'm around David and the more positive things we do with the foundation and the charitable things we do and sobriety and everything else, I mean, look, it just becomes an even more and more ingrained part of your life and your existence.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, giving back and doing stuff for other people is especially in this time. But like you said, all the time is great, especially in this time right now. We can
Let me take a quick second to thank you. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. I just want to take a quick second to thank you for all your help, and Cisco, everybody, for all of their help, and you specifically with the Osei New Stream broadcast, which just happened this weekend. We ended up, when the smoke cleared, having over 250,000 viewers. The web viewer alone had like 150,000 people. That doesn't count Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, any of the TV or radio stations that simulcast the event. So it's a huge success, man. I couldn't have done it without you. So thank you.
Anytime, and I'm so glad. So I hear that because of that, there might even be something else going on coming up this week.
By the time this airs, it'll probably be over. But so this Friday, we're doing what we're calling it. So look, a bunch of people wanted to do it, but as you know, wanted to do it, but the schedule didn't work for them. Some of the people that were scheduled couldn't, for tech reasons, get into the call or whatever. They had issues, so we did what we're calling our makeup test, which is basically, a recap show. We're going to show some clips and, but we're going to have a bunch of new guests that weren't on the first show. Dee Snider, Lou Temple from The Walking Dead, who was supposed to be on the original show, but he got confused with the time zones. People had
all of us.
couldn't do it. There were so many different reasons scheduling. Some people got confused with the time zones. Some people just couldn't get into the room. So we got Dee Snider, Chuck Billy from Testament, Chuck Beeler, formerly of Megadeth, Chris Poland, Mark Tremonti, Zach Galligan from Gremlins. Again, it's kind of the same cool mix of random pop culture and music, kind of colliding. So it's gonna be
That's
really fun. Friday at 6 p.m. PST.
Nice, dude. That'll be fun.
By the time this goes up, we'll be long over and it will be past 10. So hopefully you watched it and hopefully it was great.
Yes, I'm going to say that I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it will be.
Thank you,
Brandon. I'm ready to see some coolness. I think I'm seeing your screen. Sharing your WebEx, your phone via WebEx is pretty cool. So why don't we? I'll let you just take the floor and tell me what we have here.
Perfect. Yeah. So I guess we can just start off on the last one we talked about. So it's called Breathe Easy, and we use a technique called 4-7-8 breathing. And what that is you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 7, and you exhale for 8. And that's proven to calm anxiety, calm your nerves. A lot of people do this before making big decisions in their lives. So it's pretty simple, as you'll see on the screen here. There's 8 different moods for each different breath that you take. So right here, I just recently did it, so I'm on the highest mood. But if I click into it, you'll notice you inhale, you go through the whole process. This is 4 seconds, and then you hold. And after this, it cycles through, and then you go through the exhale. But if you were to start from the beginning, you'll see that you'll actually scale up through each mood. And then if you back out, depending on where you finish off, we use smart notifications to notify you when it's time to breathe, how long it's been since the last time you've actually focused on your breath. So we keep notifying you and letting you know that, hey, X amount of time has passed. Let's get back in here. And then we actually show you what mood you're on within that notification. So you'll be able to use this.
I tried convincing them to call it Breathe MFer, but they didn't want to do that. So.
Well, it's funny because the Apple Watch, they have a breathing app, and it's not. I mean, if it was gamified like this is it would actually make me pay attention to it, right? I mean, I don't know how many times I'm in the middle of working or doing something, and I used to get. I don't even wear them anymore. I used to get the tap. Hey, it's time to breathe. I'm like, I'm breathing, man. Like I'm breathing. I'm working here. What do you mean it's time to breathe? I'm breathing,
And that was the big thing.
This looks way more fun.
We wanted to make sure that it was in some way gamified or had some sort of character to go with it that makes you want to actually use the app, because you can download it and it'll just sit there otherwise.
Right. No doubt.
Yeah. So that's this one. That'll be out this week, hopefully by the weekend. And then we can go through a couple more games. Today we
did some jump shots. This is my favorite one. This game's right.
It's catching my eye. I see that.
This is so fun. By the way, I got up to 6 this morning, Brandon.
Yeah, see.
He keeps telling me how good he is at this, so I want to see.
Oh, no.
It's actually much harder.
It is. He makes it look really easy. I will give him that.
Well, I mean, I hope since he created it.
I mean, my
now it'd be over for me, and I'd be starting over and screaming at it.
That was so fun, though. I'd probably sit there for hours on that game. I used to do that. Like it's like going to the Chuck E. Cheese or something, and
that's what it feels like. I was just saying that we were on the call last night. I'm like, I was just thinking that we should make it like we should make it look like the God, we should just make another one that's just straight on and looks. Well, we shouldn't talk about this, then somebody will steal it. You gotta develop this before this comes out. We should make another one that has the nets on the side and just has the backboard with the light up number, and just you keep taking shots and make it look like the basketball game at Chuck E. Cheese. Like, how fun would that be? And it'd be the same game mechanics, the same shooting mechanics.
The same concept, right? But then having somebody with like an avatar where you can change their jerseys, so you can put Michael Jordan's jersey on.
that could work.
He is the GOAT. Sorry, all you LeBron fans. He's the GOAT. All right, well, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool game. I might have an extra play. I'm gonna have to download that.
Yeah, super simple mechanics, and then that kind of goes hand in hand with car hop. This one's also super frustrating. I'm sure Thom can touch on that.
I gave up on this one after about 4 days. I'm like, I hate it.
So when I was growing up, car hop was basically meant something else. I mean, what does this mean?
So you're dodging traffic, but as your score gets higher, so does the speed. So you have to adjust
harder and ridiculous.
Oh my gosh!
You have to adjust when when you're actually jumping. So the
Like a
faster it
weird
gets.
Frogger. Like a weird reverse Frogger, except you're the car.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you know what would be hilarious though is if you can engineer in their program a couple little frogs to randomly jump across the street. Now that would be hilarious.
We explored the idea to have something cross the street, but people were
You're
already
frogs,
so
like Frogger
frustrated.
frogs.
Like a ramp or something. Oh, that's great.
But yeah, it's super frustrating as well. And then
That's what we need.
tried. Yeah.
We just released 100 new levels today on. Also super frustrating.
Yeah, also
We should
very.
change the name of the
frustrating.
company to Frustration Room.
Yeah, it's a different kind of fun.
Breathe Easy app because of the games. That's why they're like, well, these games are gonna, that's why you need the Breathe Easy app. You need to play these games and then you go into the Breathe Easy app.
Yeah.
Let's
So
get you
Find
level
Me,
set, you know?
Find Me is our first single player and multiplayer game. So if you jump in here, it's basically puzzles. You have to find the odd emoji in it, and then you can actually use these gems up here to simplify the level a bit. This one's pretty hard, so I don't think I'm going to get this right now.
So that's beyond Wi-Fi 6. That's like Wi-Fi 96 right there.
Yeah.
It's like a new version of Wi-Fi to the nth degree.
So these are all the levels that I've so far played, but there's 400, so I have a little ways to go. And then you can come in here, and then you can play multiplayer. You can join games, you can create games, and then all you have to do is just send a code to your friends and family, and you can add unlimited amount of people into a game.
That's awesome. So I could see that being I mean that's especially nowadays, trying to drive more connection and getting folks to spend more time together. That'd be
Exactly.
pretty cool. That's a pretty cool way because face it, right? I mean, how many of us in the modern day and age, you go to somebody's house and everybody in there is sitting there staring at their phone. They might even be in the same room just sitting there staring at their phone. So that would be a good way to kind of break the monotony, at least be doing something interactive with somebody that you're with, versus just, four people in the room doing something completely different and arbitrary on a phone,
Exactly.
Can't you show them some of the human levels, or are you like, you just like superhuman beyond the level where you, and here we go.
Level 1. There you go. So what happens is you get it, and then the next level, it just progressively gets harder and harder. So here we'll go to a.
You just click on the right answer then.
You just click on the odd emoji. There's one in the thing that's, and by like by like the 10th level, it gets pretty dang hard.
Yeah, I'm looking at that, and you're just trying to keep up with it.
Like this one, level 108, you'll see the difference is that there's a girl instead of a guy. So let's use a gem.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Wow, but that's cool though. That's like word finder. Oh wow, yeah, look at that.
Perfect. And then you can actually come up here and collect. So we offer free gems that you can play in multiplayer or single player. So the more stars you get, you can collect your gems and then you can claim them. Yeah, so that's a good way to, I guess, keep you in multiplayer and get a one step ahead of your friends when you're playing them.
You know what we need to do? We need to somehow figure out how to.
In Brandon's case.
We need to figure out how to wrap this into like the better you get somehow like mines bit currency like Bitcoin or something like that. If you can get to level 200 and higher, you start getting Bitcoins or something like. There you go. Yeah. Hey, hey, it's all about having people save money. That's how you can do it. You can save money. That's awesome. So it's called Find Me.
Find Me, and that's also available on iOS and Android as well. And then when you're in any of our games, you can just click our catalog at the bottom. And then whenever there's a new game, you'll see, you'll get a little notification. And then you can just come into any game that you're playing and then just jump to it directly into the App Store.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's the games.
Now the real app.
Yeah, and now we can get into both Zero and Pool. So Pool is our photo exchanging platform. It's for photographers, people that take a lot of photos on their phone, and they're exchanging, photos with their families instead of putting them into group chats and getting all mixed up and all of that, we created this app here where each one of these tiles is a separate pool. So you can click into it, and now I can invite you guys, and you can dump all your photos in here that you want. And then we can save whichever ones that we want as well. So we can just click the download button down there. You can swipe up to see who has viewed it, who has downloaded the photo. Obviously delete it. And then the cool thing is that after a certain period of time, so after 7 days, 14 or 30, the pool actually expires. But the pool uses notifications as well, and it tells you, hey, it's going to expire in 3 days, or it's going to expire in 1 day. Make sure you save your photos. So you're not nagging your friends. The app is doing it for you. So no one can say that, hey, I never got the photos from you from birthday or vacation or anything like that. And then when you're actually in a pool and you're browsing, you can actually just shake your phone, and any picture that gets a check mark on it is something that you already have on your on your current phone. So you don't end up re-downloading and taking up more storage space.
So is this all, when you pool these together, are they are they stored in the cloud in the meantime? Or
yeah, so it's in the cloud for the meantime, and then once it's deleted and the pool is expired, if you didn't attend to it or extend it, then it would just be gone forever.
Okay.
But everyone that uploaded those photos obviously has a copy of it still, so you can either create a new pool, and then you can also use the camera option here to take a photo directly inside of a pool. You can swipe this way to see your timeline, so when things happened inside of a pool, and you can just tap directly into it. That I just added this.
That's awesome.
Swipe this way to see your interactions, anyone that you've invited to pool, and you can see which pools you're in with them, and then you can invite them to new pools. And then what happens is, let's say I invite you and Thom, but you and Thom have not actually interacted on the app. It'll automatically put you both on each other's interactions list for you to quickly add him next time.
Okay.
So it kind of curates this recent interactions list on its own, so you're not going around trying to add friends and all of that. But the main concept really is based around the idea of creating memories with your friends and being able to actually exchange them. Because when it comes to social media, you really only end up sharing 1 or 2 photos, if that.
Right.
But we take hundreds of them. So where are we exactly exchanging those? How are we sharing them? And there is no communication inside of this app, so there's no texting, there's no chat at all. It's just focused solely on the media component.
So
I was
just gonna say, if I had that app on my phone and I wanted to just pick a random picture that I wanted to add to a pool, is that what the plus sign means, or am I able to just grab a picture and send it up through there somehow? Or
so you can do it 2 different ways. You can
you start a new pool and show them how to add something to it.
yeah, so we can go down here, we can create a pool, or we can join a pool. Join a pool will just, if you have a link, you can put it in there. But if I create a pool, it instantly creates one. And then you have 2 options. You can add from gallery, or you can use your camera. So here, I'll use my camera, take a picture, upload it, and then you'll see it uploading right there. And there you go.
That's awesome.
And then you can use your gallery with the plus sign up in the corner here. But then also, if you're in your photo library, you can actually upload directly from there as well.
Okay, cool. So you select a picture and then send to or whatever, and puts it up.
It'll say send to pool, and then you can just pick whichever pool you're going to put it into, and it'll just show this list
awesome.
here.
And what we've been working on with this app is developing sort of like a pro version, kind of more aimed at, professional photographers, that'll have some features like batch watermarking and where you can share a proof set, like where you can share a pool with somebody of 25 proofs and they can check 5 of them and send back their selections. Like, these are the ones, so we're working on a more pro suite with desktop integration and some other features that's going to be hopefully a more useful utility in the workflow of professional amateur photographers, as far as cataloging your photos, sharing your photos, storing your photos, especially people who take a lot of photos. I mean, look, now there's a lot of people that exclusively take photos and do photo shoots with their mobile phones. So, and again, with the desktop integration, it'll be able to hit more. I think, say a photographer goes into the huge shoot of photos, he wants them on his phone so we can show them to people. And this is something I run into all the time with photographers. They're going to look at their Instagram, they're trying to find their shoots. Well, look, once we have the desktop integration, they can upload it all to their computer, drop it all into a pool on their desktop, and boom, they now have their whole shoot, their whole portfolio right on their mobile device. That, oh, here, you want to see some of my photos? Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? I think there's really going to be, I think these new features we're going to implement. Right now, it's more consumer facing, but we're working really hard to, and we actually just posted on the Imagination Room website. Maybe Brandan can recite the URL from memory, but we put up, we've been sharing around a link to photographers getting feedback on, features and things that would, be useful to them, in that we're going to take and implement some of those in pools. So if Brandan can share that URL, that would be great.
Yeah, so if you just go to imaginationroom.com/feedback, that'll take you directly to a link where you can load iOS and Android, as well as leave feedback after you've used the app. Give us any insight on what you feel you would like to see, what you don't want to see even, or what you want to see more of. So we're going to take all that into consideration for our future mobile build, as well as implement into our web version as well that we're already working on.
It's so interesting because when I see this, I think because I just went out and I bought a camera. Was it a Canon Rebel camera or something like that to do some of these episodes and everything like that, and it has some Bluetooth capability and Wi-Fi capability. I could see somehow being able to transfer photos directly from cameras and stuff directly into pool using Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and pairing it somehow. There's so many options that I think this thing.
I think that's one of the biggest things with photographers is there's not a lot of real easy, clean ways to, like, you can upload them like Dropbox and stuff, but then you have a really big obtrusive. I mean, look, Dropbox is an obtrusive presence on your mobile device. It is. I mean, I love Dropbox. I use it every day, but Pool is so much more streamlined and cleaner. I mean, again, if you're just using it for photos, I feel like Pool is just such a better option. You can just go into the desktop app, drag the whole folder of photos in to create a pool, and then boom, you have them all immediately synced to your mobile device.
I've been having to use, I don't know if you can see what this is, but this is just a little SD card reader. You have to pull it out of the camera, run over here, plug it in your laptop, copy it over, right? Just imagine if you can go directly from a camera right into this app, or from your phone, which is a majority of where people use as a camera, directly into an app that you can have shareable URLs and whatever. I think that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, you can actually do that right now as well. So if you take your camera and you connect it to your phone, you can just dump all your photos straight into any of your pools that you have. And then if you're inviting someone, you can just come in here and invitation link, and then it'll copy it.
Nice.
And then anyone that has that link can join it. But you also have the ability to lock permission, so you can block people from inviting new people into the pool. You can block people from sharing memories and uploading, so if you want to view only. And then you also have the option to do a download all. So if I turn this on, it's going to automatically download anything that's put into that pool to my device.
Right onto your device. Oh, that's cool. Instead of having to click it
and again, for people who share certain styles of personal photos where they don't want the other person to be able to share it or do anything with it, I mean, look, it's a good option for that too. It's pretty secure, and I think there's just so many cool applications for that app, and I think we're tapping into even more and building it even beyond the cool initial usefulness of it. I think that initial core of it is great, but I think we're
originally, when I heard pool and you're setting up different pools, I was thinking it's just like a gambling app or something, but who knows? Maybe that's a difference. Maybe who knows? But but yeah, I mean, when you think about it, being able to have the quick access to data like that, and you mentioned security, and encryption, and all that stuff pops into your brain, when you're thinking about sharing photos and everything like that, which I understand that not only sharing photos, but messages sometimes needing to be encrypted, and sharing photos within messages being
Funny
encrypted.
you should say that.
Sounds like there might be something else that you have that can do such
There
a
might be a
thing.
segue here.
I don't know. I'm just
There you go.
spitballing here.
Yeah, so that we can go straight into our next app, which is Zero Messenger, and that's a secure chat platform. So this right off the bat is takes zero registration, zero collection. We don't collect any of your information, and zero trace. So you don't actually need to sign up with a phone number, no email. There's no personal identifying information other than a nickname that you provide your contacts. So you'll see the homepage is literally just a messages. I've been using it, so I've deleted all my chats and everything, so that's why it's clean right now. But if you come in here, I'll show you so I deleted a couple contacts to show you guys to subscribe, but after 3 contacts, you become a pro user. And then once you subscribe, it's a monthly subscription. You can add unlimited contacts. So if you click into one of these, you'll see that I can't call someone, but I can actually buzz them. So what buzzing does is it notifies this person, hey, someone wants to chat. So they can come into the app and we create a secure connection and we're just chatting back and forth. So none of your messages actually end up having to sit on a server anywhere. They're directly going to the other person's device. And then as soon as you delete it, those messages will also be deleted off of their device as well. And that's the same thing with these contacts here. So if I delete this, I burn this contact.
Burn contact.
Now, that person is no longer going to have me on their device.
Interesting.
So it's fully gone. Any chat that I would have had with them is also gone. So when they open the app on their device, they're going to see, hey, nothing even existed here.
So here's a quick question: If
It's
you
like
had
Born Identity as an app, it's like Jason Bourne.
yeah. So here's a question: like if I had a chat, you had a chat with me, but I wasn't a contact. We were just chatting. And I
So the way if I actually need to have you as a contact in order to have a chat, just because we use these. So if I create an invite here, let's just call it. So you're going to get a QR code or a PIN code, and now this is a one-time code. So if I copy this to clipboard and I end up
Send it to me and I will go message you on Zero.
Perfect. Okay.
Not that anybody wants to call. We'll blur out Tom's number and the video playback.
Yeah,
all of a sudden he's not getting the 10 million.
My number.
Oh, it showed it when he was typing it in. That's okay.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Whatever.
Okay, I'll blur it. We can do that. No worries. This whole chat will self-destruct in 2 seconds anyway. So that's
good.
Exactly.
Oh. Try this again. I got a little bit.
So then each invitation also has an expiration date. So within 24 hours, this code, no one can actually use it. So if he tries to put it in tomorrow after this time, he can't do anything with it. He won't be able to reach me.
okay. So is that configurable, or is it just 24 hours by default, or?
It's just 24 hours by default. So everything that we've done with this app is, even the chat, some of the messages are 24 hours by default, but you can change those as well. But then also, like, let's say Thom right now, he hasn't accepted it yet. I can just click it and then burn the invitation. So now he can't actually use it if I made a mistake or, anything. You have a way to get back whatever you did, basically.
I see.
All the time. So if we come in here and we try to message this person here, I can't go into it because we're screen recording. So anytime you're screen recording, we actually back you out of the chat automatically as well.
Oh, really? That's sharp.
So there you go. You'll see that.
Wow.
Please turn off screen recording. Even with screenshots, obviously we notify that. And then screen recording, that person, when they come online, they'll see that I was screen recording. But now I can't get back into that chat until I stop it.
Oh, that's clever. That's very clever because I mean, if you know for whatever reason you want to keep that traffic anonymous, that conversation anonymous, nobody can screen capture it to show somebody later on. That's very interesting.
Because I mean, you can't get around the fact that some people can just take a picture of a picture. So you got to do as much as you can to block it on the device. And now Android and iOS have different capabilities. So like on iOS, you can't block screenshots, but you can notify people. So we've implemented that, and then on Android, we completely block them because obviously we have the ability to do that.
Sure. Sure, and I can see that like if you were doing something like a chat and obviously nobody's going to be able to stop if you have a second phone taking a picture of a phone, and I think that's just nobody can do that unless there's some sort of AI built into the primary phone to realize that there's another camera lens looking at it, and until that happens, and frankly, unless you're doing some pretty hefty stuff, you maybe should question what you're doing in the first place, but right?
Exactly.
To even need that, but that's pretty awesome.
And then we also have an option where, let's say you set a passcode. You also have a set burn passcode. So what this is going to do is if you input this from the home screen, here, let's just cancel out. So if I put in 111, my first password, it's going to log me in. But if I hit the 2, it's going to reset the app, completely burn everything as if I never used it. And it'll completely wipe me from everyone else's devices as well. So it's like a self-destruct. It looks like I logged in and I've never used the app, but
fantastic.
Everything's gone.
That's pretty cool.
You'll
pretty well thought out.
You'll see here that we have the add contact back. So now it looks like a fresh app, never been touched before. And yeah, you just start from scratch. And then if you need to, without using that code, you can come down here and just burn. And the same thing happens. It just starts over. And you go through the onboarding, agree and go live, and that's it.
That is really neat. Now, and I have played with this a little bit with Thom. I mean, this is a couple months back, but that's pretty neat because I didn't realize it did all of these things that you were showing me. Because I mean, I saw that there was chat, but I didn't realize it went to this level of security from a.
And it's a really, I mean, the security protocols are literally some of the most advanced, in existence, and some of the things we've been doing with it now, have been kind of taking the underlying technology and pushing it more towards medical and military applications. You know what I mean? So that's kind of pushing more and more the focus of Zero is kind of taking the underlying technology and the security, which is pretty unbelievable. And Brandan can probably get into the specific details a little better than I can. I'm just a marketing and idea guy, but yeah, I mean, I that's sort of become more, where we're looking with that is, for medical and military applications.
That's pretty intense. So Brandan, what, as far as security, because I'm sure people are going to want to know what type of things does it use? I'm sure it's encrypted, and is it like an AES-56 thing, or?
It's actually built upon the Signal protocol, so I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. So Signal is also another platform as well. So we use that as the foundation, and then we built upon that and then added in all of these other implementations that we just went over. Again, we're not trying to replace your everyday chat messenger. We're that productivity tool that you go to have your face-to-face conversations that you can't actually have face-to-face. So it's as close as you can get to face-to-face without actually being in person. So everything that we've implemented here, I know it comes off as it's almost too secure, but I don't think you can ever be too secure.
In certain situations, you can't,
A lot of people out there will agree with that, right? And that's the thing. It's like, even if from a lighthearted way of using this, I could say like, I'm going to secretly tell you what to get somebody for their birthday, and then it's going to self-destruct so nobody knows, right? Whatever the use case is, I could see it being valuable from that in the aspect of there is no trace, and it might be you could be using it to play word scrabble games or whatever, right? But I see the value in the fact that there's no trace. You said zero registration, zero trace, zero storing of any information, zero collection. That's awesome.
So we have nothing. We don't know your name, phone number, your location, um, when you last messaged, what you messaged. It's really as secure as the phone in your hand. So if you leave it unlocked, you have a chat and you put your phone down and you walk away, obviously that's not going to be as secure as, keeping it in your hand. Like we went over, like taking a picture of your phone. That's another thing.
So
So those are
if you
things that
did,
you can.
is there something like if I left this thing laying down somewhere that it would lock the screen or time out, or it would
Yeah.
self-destruct a message after a period of time or something?
Yeah. So after a set period of time, you'll be able to, it'll just completely wipe out your messages. So after that 24-hour period, and then it'll also auto lock as well. So like require passcode when switching apps. So as soon as I switch to another app, it'll just ask me for my passcode. So as soon as your phone auto locks,
Same as if you hit the button and bring it back on, it would be locked.
Yep.
That's awesome.
exactly.
Yeah, I
So
could
we
see
try to
maybe a use case for the pro version to have selectable time slots to be able to say, after 10 seconds or whatever, right? After it's been, you can verify that the message has been read somehow,
yeah.
you know, in a way it goes. But that's pretty cool.
And you can set the burn times on the messages, so you can send them to burn immediately after sending. You can send them to, I don't remember what the exact settings are, but you can actually set different burn times, or you can set them all to burn immediately or after 10 minutes. Well, I don't remember the exact time
So
intervals
it's like
are, but
5, 10, 20, 30. You have the 1 hour and then you have the 24 hours. So 24 hours is the global burn time. And then the other ones is basically just, hey, I want this person to read it and then completely wipe it off.
That's awesome.
Leave no trace. So eventually after 24 hours, you'll either come back to an empty chat, or if you burn it from the login screen, an empty app. So you'll see there, my phone just locked and it automatically asks for the passcode again.
Nice. That's awesome.
And then you have the
Thank you
option
for sharing
to
that
turn
with
them
me.
off.
Well, and us, all of us, I guess, for that matter. That's just fascinating. I think, and I can see the value of every one of these apps, right? I mean, the pool app, my wife takes so many pictures, and what she'll, because we have two children, right? And she's also a preschool teacher, so she takes all these pictures of different things, and I could see, constantly having to I'm trying to airdrop and do all these things, and it's just like it's frustrating. And then sometimes she'll take all these pictures and for a place to store them, she'll just throw them all up on the Walgreens website, because she'll print a lot of stuff coming back through Walgreens, and I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do that. You know what I mean? And I could see that maybe even having a paid subscription that you could pay to keep persistent storage, to keep the pictures up there, like in iCloud or something, where it could just the pools can just stay persistent at some point. That's pretty neat too.
Yeah, we've been exploring that with our web option. The whole web version that we've been building is that maybe have a pro version where you can extend the pool for an indefinite amount of time, and then just pay for it as you go along. But that's something that we're still exploring, so nothing is concrete just yet.
No doubt. That's really cool. Well,
Yeah, so
Brandon,
that's cool, Zero.
do you have I was gonna say, if people wanted to get a hold of you or at least follow you on social media or anything, did you want to kind of talk about how
Yeah,
people can get a hold of you?
You can follow me. It's my first name, last name, Brandan Bath, Brandan, Bath, and that's on everything: Twitter, Instagram, any social platform. Just search that, and you'll find me.
Awesome. And Tom, same for you. People may want to hear how to get a hold of you. I mean, they can pretty much Google you.
ThomHazaert, Thom effing Hazaert on Twitter, Thom Hazaert on Instagram, Thom Hazaert on Facebook, whatever. Just Google me. I'm easy to find.
No doubt. And for everybody listening, thanks for tuning in, because this is a little bit of a unique episode, because again, it's building the bridge between metal music and technology. And those apps, I'm telling you what, I'm going to probably download the Breathe Easy app right out of the gate, because I think that'll be just something to help us through this time that we're going through. And then, pool seems to be something that we would definitely use right out of the gate. And in zero, I might just get zero just so me and Thom can chat more deeper, about secret squirrels type stuff that we're working on, and nobody will know because it'll self-destruct. What we got to do is we got to figure out a way, with you being in development, and being a developer and things like that, there's got to be a way to somehow figure out when maybe you can make the app burn the phone that it's actually on. Just kidding.
I had to process that one.
I hope you're writing down all these great ideas, Brandon.
Yeah, taking notes.
This phone will literally just,
Funny.
I mean, no pun to any cell phone manufacturer whose phones may or may not have set on fire in the past. It's a complete disclaimer that it's just a figure of speech. Anyway, well, thank you all so much. I appreciate everybody jumping on. And then if there's anything else, let me know. Otherwise, we will have everybody go to imaginationroom.com and try to check you out on all the different social media platforms. And
make sure you check out mine and David Ellison's new single, Simple Truth, that's out now. Comes out Friday the 17th on all digital platforms. It's out as a digital exclusive EP on Bandcamp at ellefson.bandcamp.com. All the proceeds from Simple Truth are going to the Italian Red Cross and their COVID-19 relief efforts.
If you haven't heard that song, you have to check it out. I absolutely love it. Me and Thom, while social distancing, we're jamming that out the other day, and it's pretty cool. I love it.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
No problem. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And then we will catch all of you later on. Check out metaldevops.com and then at Metal DevOps on all social media platforms, and we'll see you soon.